Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Hardcore Minecraft and Ditchland here. I hope you're having a good day because I myself am having a great day, and let's go ahead and start talking about what we're going to do in today's wonderful episode. So, as you can see here, we have a base, It's not a great base, it's not a bad base. We can make it better, and that's my plan for today. So I want to, now that I'm looking at these walls, I realize I didn't texture them at all. So I want to go ahead and just add a little bit of texture here and there. Like so. This isn't what the plan for the whole episode is. I'm just doing this off the fly. But what I do want to do in today's episode is start adding some more to the base. I want to add a bedroom and start working on a library. I think those would be two really cool things to add for sure. And I'm going to need a few more planks for more texture. But I can do the texturing off camera. I think that would be a nice little detail I can add really quick. I know I collected a whole lot of oak wood, so we should be pretty set in that regard. So I'll go ahead and texture things up a little bit here. All right, there's a couple orders of business that we have to address if we are to build a library and a bedroom. So the first thing is I want the build to start working upwards a little bit. I left the tops of these buildings flat on purpose. That way we can add more levels to the base without having to tear down a roof or build around a roof or build out to the side as much. We can build vertically a little bit more. Excuse me. And that's what I want to do today. I want to start building upwards a little bit, which shouldn't be too hard. The only issue is, where should we put the stairs? Because here, this whole room is pretty much full of chests. This whole room is pretty much full of furnaces. And then this room is full of like our first starter area thing that I don't really want to mess with too much. I mean, this is our first ever chest and crafting table placed in the base, or in the world maybe. Definitely first chest in the world. I don't know about crafting table. So one idea is I could have stairs in this room and maybe just to the side of them, so that we could kind of keep these there and they'll just be to the side of the stairs. I think that's definitely a good option. And then another idea is that, I mean, we could do a ladder somewhere, like maybe right in here. We can take out these bars and add a ladder in here, but I would rather have stairs going upwards. The best option, I think, is to add on to the base a little bit. So another issue that I think is annoying is whenever I'm coming from farming trees or this direction in general, there's not really an easy way to get into the house. I either have to go all the way around over here towards the cows to get in this back entrance, or I go all the way around towards the front. So I've been thinking anyways, plus I know I'm going to want to expand the chest room in some way. I've been thinking about opening up this wall, tearing out this glass here, and maybe adding an entrance back here that we could also add a staircase to that will lead to the second floor. But I would like to have easy access to the second floor wherever we're at. So maybe we either put a staircase in here over this chest and everything, or I can move this crafting table to the other side, get rid of the stone cutter, and have a staircase that we build on the outside here towards where the cows are, and expand this room out this way so it accommodates the stairs. Which I think those two are fine ideas that I'm going to go ahead and get cracking on. So the floors are mostly made out, or are entirely made out of birch in our house, and I really like the way it looks. I like the uniformity of it, and I think birch contrasting the oak is a great look. But anyways, the point is I want to do something a little bit different for the stairs. We have oak for the walls, and we have birch for the floors. So I want to make the stairs maybe try something different, like spruce, which thankfully we have access to some spruce really nearby. So I haven't collected any spruce yet. Hopefully we'll get some saplings out of this that we can bring back a little closer to the house, but this really isn't that far of a run anyways. And yeah, that's pretty much my plan. So I've been trying to light up everything in the surrounding area lately, and as I was running over to get some more spruce, I heard a lot of spiders and things of that nature down in this little area that I guess you can't really see where I'm at, but I'm not going to jump down there. I just want to clear this out. There's not really an easy way to do that. There we go. That guy did not want to die. Oh, okay, we don't want to lose our world just like this. Holy smokes. Oh my goodness, dude. Alright, I did not play that well, but we're alive. We're alive. That's all that matters. Okay, I heard a spider in here too. I don't think the spider will actually be aggressive at all because it's daytime. But let's go ahead and light all this up. So I got a little handful of spruce, but most importantly, I have a couple trees that I could add to our area over here so we could farm even more of it, which I'm pretty happy about. Okay, so here's where the little staircase is gonna go. I figure it'll be smarter if I just go ahead and build the stairs first and then worry about the walls afterwards. Okay, so this is definitely an easy way to get here. And then the problem is I built this roof out of slabs, not whole blocks. And we're also going to have to figure out where these rooms are going to go, respectively, the bedroom and the library, which I have not figured out yet. All right, I've done a little bit more work kind of figuring out how I want this area to go. So allow me to explain. So one thing I really like is having a lot of windows. I like to be able to see the area outside. So, okay, so I've worked a little bit on this staircase. First off, I thought, hey, why not put a door right here since it's already going to lead straight to where the cows are at. It might feel a little redundant having a door there and another door here, but I think it'll be fine. It's more convenient. I think I'll enjoy being able to get out to where the cows are more. And then where we have this big staircase room, I want to have windows looking out over the lake. I think that was a perfect opportunity over there. I want to have a big window on this wall so we can look out towards the cows and the farms. And I needed to decide what we're going to do with this top area, and I really like our little I always forget what these things are called, like sunroofs or whatever, but I really like this glass window in the roof of the furnace room, so I didn't want to build over that. I wanted to maintain that, so I went ahead and drew a line for a wall there with also a big window going across it and built up these walls a little bit so you can kind of see from the outside what it looks like so far. I'm gonna have to do something with this to make it look a little bit nicer, maybe add some slabs under here or some stairs for a transition. And then, but I've been mostly just working on what it looks like from the inside. And then as far as what room's going to be where, I think we'll make this our bedroom here. I went ahead and flattened this all out, and then I'm going to add some rails here so we don't fall back into the stairs, but we can still look out the window. I think that's a nice feature. And then I want the bedroom to extend out over the front, so we're pretty much able to walk out onto a balcony and be right on the lake. I think is nice. I want the bedroom to still be spacious and full of windows, but I also want it... See, the good thing about a bedroom is it doesn't have to have a lot of chests or crafting tables or stuff. Like, it could really just be a room that we enjoy hanging out in. And I enjoy buildings that have a lot of windows, and the problem with having a lot of windows is it normally takes away space for where you would normally have chests. So it's kind of what we're working with so far. I just figured I'd give you guys an update as I kept making some progress here. Oh, and I failed to mention that this is probably where the library is going to go once we get to that point. I need to just focus on one thing at a time here. I already did remove the log that was going across this top of the room here because I want these expansions to not only build the base upwards, but also build the base outwards. I want little pieces that are kind of hanging out over the sides of the... Oh, I gotta sleep. I want little pieces that are kind of hanging out over the sides at the bottom, so it just makes the base look a little more interesting. And yeah, so that's kind of the idea we're going. Now the next step is to start adding on blocks out the front here for the room and getting the shape of that right. So I'm gonna get to that. Ooh. Yeah, that is a problem. We're going to have to extend this all the way up, and that door might have to get redone in the front there to make it look like something a little bit better looking. And maybe I should do this from the bottom here. Right? Okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. And I still like the door down here. I think that looks fine. We could even probably replace it with logs. It might look even better. Huh? Maybe not in the middle. Maybe just like an upside down stair right here. Oh yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, this is looking good. This is looking good. All right. So I've made a little bit more progress on what I was calling the bedroom. I would say that this is complete for now, but I don't think this is going to be our bedroom. This looks like more of just an open porch, patio kind of area that I really like. I like that you can look out over the farms. You can see the lake. It's like a nice sightseeing view. You know what I mean? This is just a nice place to like look over our base, our property, if you will, our surrounding area, and to just, you know, enjoy our morning coffee, you know? That being said, I don't think we're going to get to a whole library today because I need to build up a whole lot more bookshelves. And this looks like a really large space to turn into a bedroom, if I'm being honest. But that is what I want to work on next. So this is no longer going to be the bedroom. This is going to be just a nice little viewing area. And then one big thing I wanted to keep in mind and mention to you guys is that given that this is a hardcore world, security is, you know, kind of a big deal. You don't want necessarily open spaces in your base, or I personally don't. But this is going to be an exception. I think open areas in the base look really nice, look really cool. They just add a very neat feature. And I just want to make sure the rest of the base is sealed off from it. So I added these double doors here. And like I said before, when we're going from inside to inside, I'll have these pressure plates here. Because the only thing that could really come up here that I'm worried about would be like a spider or maybe phantoms if we forget to sleep for several nights. So I don't really have to worry about any creepers, zombies, skeletons, anything like that as long as we keep it well lit. But a spider could come in. And so I guess a spider could go through the door given that we have some trapdoors here, but I'm happy that we have a door there. So I you know, if it's something does walk in while we're in there, we'll hear at least the doors open if it's a spider. And that shouldn't be too big. Like I showed you guys before, we have these doors leading outside towards the cow farm, which is nice. And then to keep the rest of the base sealed off, like I've been talking about, I also added these double doors here. And a couple stairs just to make the transition in here look a little bit nicer. I still want to mostly keep this area like a memorabilia thing. Like this is the first part of the house we ever built. And I like having our first ever wooden pick and stone sword and our first shield kind of on display in here. And this is the first chest we ever made and first crafting table. Yeah, all that cool stuff. As far as the outside goes, I think it looks pretty fine for now. I think the patio is small enough that it doesn't really need any kind of supports out here. Like if I were to add something like this. All right. Here we go. Yeah, I think it looks a little bit nicer using the stairs on the edges here. Just kind of rounds things off a little bit, and I don't think I'm going to add those tiny little supports. It almost looks like that it's just not pushing out far enough to where it really needs it, especially if you consider like that the ceiling might be holding it up too. I don't know. We also have to keep in mind the whole idea for this base is to be unrealistic. We don't want it to look like any building you would see in real life, so it's okay to have things just kind of hanging over without the supports there, I think, if that's what we're going for, which is. It is what we're going for. So I think we've made some great progress so far. And now I'm going to start figuring out how I want to do... I don't know how I feel about this wall. I think it looks fine. Let's go ahead and replace this with planks, though. A little bit too much log going on. It feels too chaotic. And we could even actually do stairs. I want it to look real fancy. Like this. Maybe on this side too. Just add in the little details, you know, that really make this thing pop. Okay, yeah, I actually like that. I like that a lot. So now, this is where we're going to go into like bedroom versus library. And I think the library is definitely something we'll do, but not in this episode. So for now, I'm going to just totally not even think about it because... in the future, we'll figure out where we want to put it. So this is all the space we have for a bedroom if I wanted to just build straight up. And this realistically is plenty of space for that kind of thing. I feel like it would just be too big for a bedroom if I added even more space to this. Like realistically, we don't need any more than this for a bedroom. So now the only thing is, how do we want to make this look cool? How do we want to make this bedroom interesting and not just a random box? That's going to be the challenge, I think. So the way we have it now, it'll be about 3 blocks tall on the inside. And I want it to have a different height than this block. So I think we should actually make it 4 blocks high. That's a good starting point. And let me get some dirt in here so I can get up on the roof. And we could get rid of this strip of stone slab. By the way, this is also different too. I haven't used stone, pure smooth stone for the roof anywhere yet. And I used it here. Oh, you know what? That also reminds me about this area. I haven't done anything with this area. Do I have any of these stone slabs? Would that look cool? Actually, yeah, I kind of like that. I know I have more of that stone in here somewhere. I just got to turn it into slabs, which I have a stone cutter for. Normally I do this stuff off camera, but it definitely doesn't hurt to bring you guys along for some of the building. I almost feel like there should be a window there. Even though I already have a window there, something's telling me to just add like a little something right here. You know, just a tiny little thing. Just to make that wall a little more interesting. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit more refined and finished. Yeah, I think that looks kind of funky, but that's all right. That's all right. Can't make everything look perfect. Got to be okay with some details, and we could always tweak it a little bit more later on. So back to what the task at hand was, which was adding a little bit more to this, whoops, to this area. I guess the next step would be to start filling in the walls. And then that's a perfect spot for a window. Yeah, I like that. And then definitely big window on this side for sure. Not this side, but I mean this front side right here. Looking out this way, I want a big old window. Don't know how I want to do it yet. And it looks like we're going to be running low on wood soon. So we could make it just this big, you know. I mean, it's a bedroom, so you don't have to follow any particular rules. And then where's our bed going to go? Bed could go like here. Okay. You know what I was just saying? You got to leave some details you don't like. Yeah, screw that. I decided to switch the top slabs from smooth stone to match whatever the wall at that point was. So, ooh, I don't know if I like that post going into a wooden slab. It's not too bad. Not too bad. So I'll give you guys a little view of what it looks like from up top. So up here, you'll never really see it. So even though it might look a little funky from up here, you could kind of see what I was doing. So where the wall was cobblestone on the outer layer, I added the cobblestone slabs instead of smooth stone. And then where the wall was wooden, I added the wooden slabs. So from up here, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but when you're actually down there, now it looks a little more legit. I could even swap this whole wall for these smooth stone blocks. It's not a bad idea. Certainly not a bad idea. Whoops. I'm going to take all this fall damage. But I think the wooden wall there is not bad either. That's alright. Or we could do cobblestone. Nah, we already got enough cobblestone going on in this little section. I think I should leave it how it is like that for now. Maybe even turn this into a post. Actually, that would look probably better. Yeah, definitely much better. I'm liking it. The new additions to the base are certainly giving it a lot more character, and I love a base full of character. You know what I mean? Alright, back to the bedroom. I ran out of wood, so I had to go chop some more, but we should be good now. I think I'm just going to fill in the walls with all oak planks for now, and then put the windows where I want them. I want the back, like, let's say we put our bed here, right? I want the back to look kind of like a solid wall. I don't want glass behind my head where I'm sleeping, but I do want to be able to see out windows. So I think we'll put the bed down here, and I'll try and decorate it kind of like in the good old days, and they used to like put this stuff all around the bed, and I don't know, make it look cool. We'll try and do something like that. Well, maybe we'll change the color of it. and try and decorate this room. I'm not very much of an interior decorator. I'm very much like my background with Minecraft. I always played survival, so whenever I built houses, it was always about the survivability. You know, it was always about having a lot of chests and that kind of thing. Oh, you know what? We could do it like this. And then, wait. Like this. And then we have 3 double windows like this. Or 2x2 windows. There we go. All right, looking pretty good. So now's when I would go in and start adding all the texture. First, I'll just go around and just remove blocks kind of randomly, following my own pattern. This is how I like to texture my walls. I like to just fill the whole thing in first to make it easy to build the wall. And then I go in and just delete a bunch of blocks randomly, put a bunch of holes in the wall. And then I go in. Oops, I did not mean to strip that one plank out there. We'll have to fix that. That one log on the corner. Like that. I keep doing that. Okay, maybe I should put the planks right here and place them separately so I stop stripping the logs that aren't supposed to be stripped. And I like to put some of them sideways, some of them up and down, some of them even facing outwards. There we go. Now let's go fix those outside logs that I accidentally stripped. Oh, we might have gotten lucky on that one. Wait. Well, one's definitely on this side, back over here. Yeah, all the way at the top, of course. Go ahead and fix that one. Collect our stone. Oh, man. I thought I could make that jump without sprinting. Silly me. Okay, and then I'll just run around and make sure I didn't strip any more. But it's already looking pretty good. I like it. Oh, that's where I stripped it. Down at the bottom. Can't believe I didn't see that the first time. There's probably people watching who are like losing it. Because they saw it and I didn't, and the OCD just kicks right in. Okay, let's go ahead and add a couple little details here and there. I like it. I like it. Very nice. Okay. Moving on. Alrighty, the next stage is complete. This is what the bedroom looks like from the inside as of right now. We'll go ahead and take a look on the outside as well. I really wanted to make a nice high up ceiling with a different look. I mean, all the other ceilings we made have been really flat on the top, which isn't horrible, but for a bedroom, I wanted it to feel kind of grand. And then I was going to do a normal, like, just a normal roof, like kind of sloped on both sides. I decided to just slope it inwards towards the rest of the build. Because the goal, so like I said before, we want to make our base look unrealistic. I don't want it to look like a normal building you would see in real life. I think that's one of the beautiful things about Minecraft. You can make things that look like what you see in the real world and use that for inspiration even. And that's great. And we're going to do that in the little village area. But for this base, I wanted to try and lean in the opposite direction, which you can really do in Minecraft. You can make a lot of things that you won't normally see in the real world, which I think is special. So this is kind of what it looks like from the outside. The only issue I had with making a sloped roof in general is that now it makes it harder if I want to keep building upwards, which I really do. I think having like a huge tower kind of base would be really cool, like kind of build upwards as we go rather than outwards. We can build outwards a little bit too. I might even do the library down on the ground level just to make things easy. But even if we do keep building upwards, I think this will just keep adding to the shape of the tower, the base itself. It'll make it look interesting. It'll be more than just boxes kind of added on together. Now we're giving it a little more character. You know, we have this big gap, this open area you can look out of, and now we have a sloped roof kind of cutting into the base. So this is very different than what I originally had in mind for what we were going to build today. And I originally wanted to extend this wall out, like, you know, in this direction on the second floor and make a little overhanging kind of thing, which I guess we could do. We could make a little patio balcony thing right over there. But I'm not going to, at least not right now, not today. And I'm not too upset about it. You know, this is very different from what I had in mind for building today, but that's kind of the beautiful thing. When you start building something, as you piece it together, you know, you might have one thing in mind and then you end up with something a little bit different. But I'm really happy with what we ended up with. I really like our little viewing area where we can look over at the lake and the fish and the squids, as well as our farming area, which I have not harvested and is ready to harvest. And we could even see our cows a little bit, which is cool too. And as we build on more things around this lake, I think it'll be nice to get to just have a little an observatory area. I could sit here, drink my coffee, and just, you know, just appreciate all the things we've built so far. And I think this does feel nice and grand for a bedroom. So we're not quite done yet for the episode. The last thing we still have to do is actually we need to build the inside of the bedroom. So it needs to look cool from the inside. That's my next big objective. So like I said before, I'm not much of an interior decorator. I normally played survival, so this is what most of my interiors look like, just a bunch of chests and stuff. But it's nice to experiment with different things. I want to see if I could find any wool. I do have some wool because I want to make a new bed to put in there so that I could still keep a bed on me. And then I need to see if I have any dye. Let's go find some dye, some flowers or something. Because I don't want a white bed. I want to make it look interesting. I like red beds. I think they're pretty cool. And here's a red flower, so we'll go ahead and go for that. Boom. Should just have to put the dye with the bed. There we go. A red bed for our permanent bed. And we'll have to try and decorate the inside of this house somehow. Oh man, the base is looking a lot better though. I can say the work we've been putting in has certainly paid off. Oh, I can't see it now that I'm sleeping, but we'll be able to see it in just a second. Yeah, this looks 100% more interesting than what we were building before, or what we had before. I really like the modular sort of approach, how we kind of have like a cobblestone area for the smeltery, and then we have this. Man, this looks really nice from this angle, I'm not gonna lie. I really like it. Like it a lot. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start trying to design the interior, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, everybody, it's time for the moment of truth. I think I cooked a little bit. I mean, for those of you who are really good at this thing, actually, you know what? I just thought of one other thing I can add. 1 second. Alright, I think I cooked a little bit, so let me know what you guys think. One thing before I show you everything is I thought this was actually a really fun project, trying to design an interior room. I thought it was a lot of fun, trying to change it up a little bit. So here you can see is the bedside. I tried to add like a little, I don't even know what these things are called, the things over the bed. And I added a second bed here so we could set our spawn, even though it's a hardcore world. And then this is just kind of like a little, you know, a little nightstand off to the side with some flowers and some lights. Keep it nice and bright in here. And then this is the rest of the room. So I thought this would be kind of like a dresser over here. I don't know, just some drawers and stuff. We could keep some fancy books down in there, and then some other things in the barrels too. This is like my little desk right by the window. You can see I have my little plant on there. You know, can't really sit in the chair, but I think it looks nice. And then this is the sofa. You know, we have a little plant on one side, a light on the other. You could kind of sit back, enjoy the view, you know, kick your feet up. I don't have a coffee table or anything, but we do have nice little side tables. And it even looks like you kind of have like an arm on, like an armrest on the actual sofa, a corner sofa. So I thought it came together pretty good. I do have torches on the walls up there just so that the ceiling looks really lit up. But yeah, I thought this was fun. You know, I don't normally build like this. Oh, and I just added this rug. This was the last thing I thought of. So I thought that was a good touch as well. All right, so yeah, let me know what you guys think. Did I cook? Did I not? Is there anything you want to see me add in here? I think this is exactly how I want it, but I'm always open to recommendations. And by the way, in the last episode, if you left me some comments about what you want to see me build in this world, well, the reason why I haven't built it or said anything about it yet is because I'm recording this episode before the last episode has posted yet. So I'm a little bit delayed, but if you did leave a comment on the last episode about what kinds of things you want to see me build in this world, just trust me, I will get to it. I would love to build some of your guys' ideas or try to build some of your guys' ideas. And if you haven't seen that episode or left a comment yet, feel free to comment on this video what you think of the build, the new parts of the house, or what you want to see me build in the future. Anything like that. Oh, we have some pillagers that want to end our day. Just make sure that they're not in the actual base itself. Where's my shield, by the way? Oh, it's right here. All right, let's go to town here. Let's show these guys who's boss. I only see one of you. I saw more of them across the lake, but I guess one of them strayed all the way here. I wish I had zoom so you guys could see. Maybe I could zoom with my FOV. Yeah, those guys just slowly making their way across the lake. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Peace.